Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the Promised Land art show. I'm sorry we had some technical problems. More than technical, it was very basic problems because the power just went off here in my town for like 20 minutes. And this was also a lesson about this technology that we really rely on, but we cannot always. Anyways, I'm so happy and honored to be the curator together with Alessandro Mescoli of this show, where I was invited by Hackatao that I will never thank enough. This was it was a great opportunity to really discuss, talk, and think about art. So I think that today the main character of this speech is we can call this like this will be art. So Hackatao and Alessandro Mescoli, who is an Italian curator, reached out to me to co-curate this artistic project that saw an artist by the old Italian master Guercino from the 17th century in collaboration or in dialogue, in narration with Hackatao artists. I would like to explain the project a little bit, like how it was born and how we developed it. So obviously, when you think about these giants from the past, the reaction is at the beginning is a little bit of kind of scare. But then we had this discussion with the other curator and with Hackatao, and we really understood that we shouldn't take it as a challenge, but more as an opportunity of dialogue and of narration that actually never stopped. How? So Alessandro Mescoli, who is the organizer of this art space in north of Italy, in small town next to Modena, the Ossimoro Art Gallery, they were very nice to lend this Moses by the Italian painter Guercino, and Alessandro really wanted to create this contrast with contemporary art. So as for me, I was curating the Hackatao part, and we started to think about how we could put, how, what has, what can Moses have anything to deal with contemporary art, right? So we started to think about Moses, the character, and decided that the conversation and the narration should be at the level of the content and the meaning more than of style and anything else. And we considered what was the main probably the biggest, the main role of Moses was it for him to be the leader of people towards salvation, which millennials ago was called the Promised Land. So how could we dialogue with this? We thought about today. We are here in Europe, and we all know that in the past 20 years, maybe even more, even longer, but the last 20 years, the phenomenon is very strong. We have been seeing migrants going and coming and traveling all over the Mediterranean area. So we thought maybe we could talk about migration, which actually discovered to be nothing different from what was happening at the time of Moses. At the time of Moses, people were traveling towards the promised land to find a home, destination, a place where to live. And today we see all these migrants who are also going towards a promised land, leaving behind identity and with the desire of finding a new one, which is actually not happening, and we discovered that actually what we thought could be very difficult, which is to put together two art pieces like this and two stories with that are so far away from each other. We found it to be, in fact, very simple and natural. Why? Because in fact, the needs and dramas and tragedies of humanity never changed all over the years, even not after 3,000 years. And so we just imagine, what if Moses wake up today? So we
Don't
consider
move around so much. Just relax. Just stay here.
what? we so we imagine Moses to wake up today and having a look at the world, even in the areas that he where he accompanied his people, and what does he see? And again, he sees this sea, the Mediterranean Sea, which he they the his history let him walk through the Red Sea, and today the same sea is red of lost lives. Surprisingly, or even not surprisingly, what we could prove again was that the nature of art and humanity is timeless, it's eternal, it's always the same thing, it's always the same problems, nothing has ever changed, and the only thing that changed is the shape and the form in which problems and issues manifest. So we are very happy to present this project that actually happened in an actual and real art space, and it opened 1 week ago. And we're super happy to present it today here on Arium platform, which made me very happy after months of quarantine and lockdown. I found this space to be the most amazing one that I've been to. I could talk to everybody, and thank you, Dan, for putting up this amazing installation. We were in Stanley yesterday, and it looked and felt like we were there. Like, oh, where do you want to put this? And we were walking towards the wall that we were interested in. So thank you so much again. I guess the story and what we could really understand from this project again is that we don't really need to put art in divide art in times and spaces. It doesn't need that. It's not its nature. And as you can see, it is possible to make Moses from the 17th century to perfectly be in dialogue with a contemporary artist, which is Hackatao. Talking a little bit about the Hackatao artist Promised Land, if you had a look around the museum, you could see some photos and videos of the making of, and also some inspirations. So what Hackatao usually do, they go through, photos, documents, and websites that inspire them for the artists that they will be creating. So you can see all the inspirations, even in colors and content, of course, all together in a mood board. And the making of, where Sergio, we all know that Hackatao is a couple with Sergio and and colorful part, and Sergio is the one who takes care of the drawn part. So as you can see, Sergio drew by hand the mermaid, which is very symbolic. As the mermaid is able to enchant people. We know that from old literature, and here her role is to enchant people. Unfortunately, not in a positive way, meaning that she let people believe that they can reach this promised land, but which is actually impossible to reach. But again, going back to the artist, then the drawn mermaid was animated on the computer, and on the mermaid you can see the writing promised land, and the particular thing is that the writing is reversed, so you cannot read it. it's how migrants going towards the promised land can see the sign, meaning that this promised land doesn't really exist until you are talking and seeing and experience it from inside. What you can also see in the choice of colors, obviously, is the colors are very warm and symbolizing the blood and the lives that are lost in the sea, and moving slowly with customized song for the piece, and yeah, so it's very I mean I was very impressed to see the finalized art piece together with the Moses, where if you notice the position of the Moses is what he like he is not scared but impressed and magnified by the light of God. But here, next to Hackatao's mermaid, is not like enchanted by God anymore, but it's an expression of pain for what he sees as we have imagined him to wake up after 3,000 years. If you want to know more, we have a nice interview that we published today on Artsy, where the curators are asking questions to Hackatao, and Hackatao also asked us some questions and our point of view. And if you have any questions, please ask. I think that today the winner of this project is Art, that again is proving that doesn't need for us to put it in any box, but and proving its eternity as well as the same for humanity. So I'm going to answer to all those who I'm sure will ask about like how did you like how was it possible to even like is it possible to put a screen with a digital animation next to like a masterpiece, an old Italian painting? Yes, it is possible. All the art is contemporary, and Guercino was contemporary to its time. Hackatao, they're contemporary to their time. And as you can see, this narration and dialogue is always possible because it was always there. It's just the structures of the art world that always want to prove the opposite. And with that, if you have any questions, otherwise, thanks so much for coming. Let's see.